All right, we're live. This is exciting. Hopefully, I don't look like a robot on your end because it seems like. Oh, let's see. My live broadcast just ended on my Instagram. So 1 second. I think there's been a lot of. Hey, Jeanette. I think there's been a lot of traffic. I got a message when I logged into my StreamYard that I used to go live, and I think Facebook is getting a lot of traffic, so things aren't working quite like they should. Okay, so let me start my Instagram side up again. It looks like got Jeanette live. All right, let me get my Instagram. I'm really excited about today's topic. I love entrepreneurship. I love business. So if you're somebody that is excited or has thought about starting a business, I hope this will inspire you to do that. So once I get the technology here going, we'll get going. All right. Just waiting on my Instagram to go live here, and then we'll get started. Jeanette, do I look like a robot on your end? Because like in my side, it looks like my video is moving really slow. So I don't know if it's my internet or if it's just the socials acting up. Okay. All right, I think we're live. Okay, let me start it on my phone because it's not working. All right, 1 second. Let me get Instagram going. Okay, but not too bad. Okay. All right, I think I'm live on Instagram, so that's good. I'm going to close out this other one. That'll help my bandwidth. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today we're going to go live. I'm going live, but we're going to talk about how to start a business during this time. I think it's a time when you question, is it the right time to start a business? Is it the wrong time? People aren't buying, they're holding their money. And but what's exciting is when you look at history about when recessions have happened, like this is a time when businesses have gone lean and mean. They've gone and they've been innovative, and they found new ways to help serve the market and find problems that weren't there before. And so like I'll just list a couple businesses that have started during a recession. It's pretty cool. Like so Uber, so the last recession was 2008, and it was when the real estate, was obviously real estate, the boom. So Uber started in 2009. Airbnb was 2008. Quora was 2008. Kickstarter was 2009. WhatsApp was 2010. I mean, there's a whole long list of other big companies that have started during the recession. And so it really is a great time to start one. And I'll go into more detail on that, on why it is so great. So let's see. So just a little bit of background on myself. I love working with entrepreneurs. I'm just passionate about just businesses and executives and just all the innovation that comes from starting businesses. I knew I would want to own a business since I was a little girl, really. And so it's just been a big part of my life and who I wanted to be. And so the way I started the business that I have now is it was actually back in 2006, so right before the last recession, and I just had this idea that the way it started was I would meet with lots of business owners. I was working at a CPA firm, and I was doing tax preparation for a lot of business owners, and they would come in, and I would meet with them, and this is when the economy was good, things were going really well, and they were tired, they were overworked, they didn't love what they did anymore, and I'm like, there's got to be a better way to keep that spark alive and to really help business owners, and like, what's the point of having a business if we can't enjoy it while we're doing it? And so I had this idea to create outsourced services for companies so they could focus on their core. And so that was good. I had a couple large clients at the time back in 2006. And then the economy obviously crashed around 2008. And it was my first recession I had ever gone through as a business owner. And it was interesting. The two large clients that I had shrunk to pretty much nothing. And you're forced to get a little scrappy, and you're forced to really think about, like, what is it that I want to do? How can I serve businesses better? Can I provide for my family and put food on the table? And so I'd actually, during when I when things were tight, I actually went and got an office and literally created my own reception desk. And I was pretty lean and mean with what I had done, and started up a learning center as well as some traditional accounting work for business owners, just to kind of get food on the table. Around that same time, so I had gone through a divorce, and we had really lost a lot of stuff during that recession. And so I even had to get more scrappy. And I'm like, I ended up actually living in my office at the time. I couldn't afford to work somewhere and live somewhere. And so I would actually sleep in the back in the hallway on a cot. And then when I had my kids, they would actually sleep under my reception desk. And well, that's not something I think everybody should go and do. It was just a time when you're forced to figure out, like, who am I supposed to be, and what and how to really get lean and mean. And when businesses are forced to be lean and mean, it forces them to build a company based on that, and trying to always figure out how to do more with less. And so it was actually interesting. Last week I had gone to not last week, it was probably like 3 months ago. I went to a conference, and Tony Robbins was speaking, and he actually had said, look, guys, we are like 10 years without a recession. It's going to come. And if it doesn't come within the next 2 years, I'd be really surprised. And so it was pretty timely as far as what he had said. And if you look at the trends, there's about every 10 years some type of recession for one reason or another. This one's a little bit different because usually it's related to like some type of things being overvalued, whether in real estate or the stock market or things like that. And this one was obviously related to pandemic. And so it's a little bit different. And I think it's affecting everybody on a much larger scale. And and to a much larger, I think, degree than other ones too in the past, because other markets were able to stay stable when where this one is literally impacting everybody in a much different way. So today I want to kind of talk about why it's a really great time to start a business, and the things that you can really leverage at this time. So just a couple ones. As far as like right now, we're all uncomfortable. We are in a spot where we're forced to think differently and work differently, literally. And so it forces us to really analyze, like, what can I do differently? And so often we get stuck in our daily routines, and we just think life's good and life's never going to change. And then these things happen, and it forces us to analyze what's really, really important. And so this is when, as a business owner, or as somebody that wants to start a business, you can actually start to think, what is it that I want to do? I've had this nagging thing to start this business for a long, long time, but I was too fearful. I didn't want to do it. And so it's really cool to be at a time when you can do that, because like we're all uncomfortable, and it puts you in a spot where you don't have as much fear as you might have had before. And you're like, you know what, everybody, we're all struggling right now. Like, I can do this, and I can start this business. So it's when great innovation happens, people think differently. And so I just, instead of me telling you what business to start, like, that's not my goal here, but it's just to help you channel what's inside of you and be innovative and say, what is it that what problem can I solve for another customer? Or what value can I bring to the marketplace? And because we're forced to be lean and mean, we're forced to do it at a much lower cost than we would have otherwise in a much bigger market, because we might not be able to put the price tag at the amount that we would want it to be for people to buy it. And so I think the biggest thing is you have to determine, is this something that somebody's going to be willing to buy? And when the economy does improve, are they still going to be willing to buy it? So you just have to make sure that it is something in the market that you want to solve. So the other thing that's great right now is that there's less competition. People that weren't ready for this recession will be closing their doors. And so you'll be at a point when, that's great and not great, obviously, but it puts you at an advantage to be able to start a business and not have so many people in the marketplace, or in the ocean, as we often refer to it as. So with that, you can do things a lot of times that, without many people there, you can get further faster. So let's see. Also, labor, if you think about how low the unemployment rate was, we were at all-time lows. And So it's hard to get good talent during the time when there's such a good economy. And so because a lot of people have been laid off, this is a great time to hire really good talent. And I can tell you that having amazing people and people on your team to surround you, it makes all the difference in the world. And so it's such a good time to look for those A players that can really work with you and help you, again, get further faster during this time. Okay, so there are some of my hair just keeps falling to my face. So let's see. I have my list of kind of different things I want to talk about here. So there are benefits, obviously, to being resourceful. I kind of mentioned this before, but a lot of times before you're probably in a state of fear, or I was like, I can't do this. This is too hard. But because we're all in a different state, we can really start to become much more innovative and resourceful with what we're doing. And we actually have a core value in our company that says embrace the uncomfortable. And when things are good, like sometimes it's easy to not do that and just kind of go with the flow and know I got a good job and it's stable. And then when everything crumbles like it is right now, it forces us to be uncomfortable. It forces us to think differently and to really figure out what is important in our lives. As far as like what businesses are good, like I really don't want to spend, I don't want to list like, oh, this is the time to do all these different types of businesses. Because again, like if you think about Uber and Airbnb and some of these companies, like that model didn't even exist. And so I think it's such a great time, like I said, to be innovative and see what things you're good at. And I heard somebody once, I think it was Rachel Peterson, if any of you know who she is, she said, just start writing lists of anything that you can talk about for 20 minutes without any prompts. And it'll kind of give you an idea of like what things that you're good at or you're passionate at. And then you can kind of springboard off that. And some of you might be like me, where it's like I knew from an early time like what I was supposed to do as an entrepreneur. And so it's just a good time to reflect on what you want to do and where you want to go and taking it to the next level. Now, I will say, because so many people are home and looking for ways to improve and learn and grow, it is a great time to start like courses or trainings or things like that. And if you set it up right, it can be a good passive income, because it's not, once the courses are recorded, it's not extra work on your end. It's just keeping an evergreen model to sell the product. So, and then obviously updating the content every so often. So, all right. One of the things that I'm big with, and also that our company is, I don't know, that we really, our whole model was built on is allowing business owners to stay focused. And we are at a time when things are changing so fast. People are so innovative, and businesses are moving fast, and people are passing up long time players in the market. And so I'm such a believer in finding what your core is, focusing in on that, staying innovative with that, and always expanding and growing upon that, and outsourcing the rest. Like we don't have time to do the trial and error that I think about how it took me 10 years just to figure out how to build a good team, or it took me a lot of years to figure out how to do some of the stuff, or how to be really good at different areas of business. And so even though people will say be niche based, a lot of times we aren't, because we have to go and build a marketing team, or we have to go and build a technology team, or so my big suggestion is to focus on your core, get a few solid good people around you, and then outsource the rest. And so that way you can stay focused and you can go further faster. And so that's just my big takeaway from that. And really, freedom is really about elimination, and eliminating the things in your life that take away from getting to where you need to go. And so elimination can be done several ways. It just doesn't mean not doing it. It can be getting and working with a team of people that can get it done for you. And I'm a believer in making sure going to an outsourcing company that can get it all done under one roof, because if you're trying to outsource to 10 different companies, you're now managing all of those different companies. And so if you can go to one company, and we call it team sourcing here, where you can just outsource it all, that company now can be much more strategic. They can understand your vision. They can use technology and automation and continue to improve your processes without you having to do all of it. So that's just if you want to get your business to the next level faster, and even potentially autopilot a lot of the functions in your business so you can really have more time. Because maybe you want to do this on the side and still keep your job. There's ways to use these tools to get to where you need to go. So I think we get complacent in this world when things are good, and you think that it's always going to be this way, especially if maybe you haven't gone through a recession before. And then when you start to realize that this is part of the cycles of the economy, you want to set yourself up to be ready for that. And so just to close, I just want to just encourage you all to not be complacent, to get yourself into uncomfortable areas, and realize that this is when amazing things can happen. And if you want to start a business, if you've always known you want to do it. Like, now is the time. So many people need what you have to share, and you're doing them a disservice not giving that to the world. If you have this great idea or this great product or whatever it is that you think that you feel inspired to start a business around, this is just my shout out to you to really start that business. And now is literally the best time. It forces you to be scrappy. It forces you to be resourceful. I had just met with a guy, and he was talking about how when you're forced to be resourceful, like you think of things that you wouldn't have other thought of. So if you're always just given handouts and everything just comes really easy, you're not forced to think outside of the zone that you normally do. And so because we're all forced to right now, it is really our time to humble ourselves and to really think about what's important, really think to be what you're called to do, what your purpose is in life, and then take that to the world. So that's what I had set for today. So I hope that inspires you to want to start a business. If you like this video, share it with other people, your friends. Like it. I would appreciate any comments you have about it that you liked. If you have any questions, you can direct message me as well. I would love to answer it. I just want to be able to help businesses or people that want to start businesses right now. So I'd love to answer any questions you have. So with that being said, thanks for jumping on another live. We have another live set for next Thursday, and I'll have Cameron, who's the president of the center, the company that I have. I will be talking about teamwork and how to really grow teams virtually. And he is really great at that. And so he's taught me a few concepts that I want to have him share with you. So with that said, thanks everybody. Thanks Amy, Ashley, Emily, Elena. Thanks everybody for joining. And we'll see you on Thursday. All right. Bye.